So from the time we were all born till now, we have grown, we have developed, mostly in ways that we cannot control. Each day, something happens to us, even in ways that we are aware of, and mostly we don't even know. You're either growing fat, you're either losing weight, or growing taller. I can't say shorter because that doesn't really happen. But the question I want to pose to you is, do you think it is time to actually take conscious decisions to grow and develop yourself as an individual? So today I'm here before you to speak to you about the importance of personal development and touch on 5 areas where you can develop yourself. So we talk about personal development, and for me, I find that this is one of the best definitions of personal development, and it is saying the ongoing process of developing or improving oneself to achieve personal and professional goals and to reach one's full potential. Even as the example I gave earlier, we're growing. At some point, you grow tall, 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 and then when you get to about 22 years, they say, you don't go taller. So if you're at this height, know that that's the end for you, unless you want to perform some surgery or something. But personal development is something that should be conscious. It is you facing the realities of your life, you being very truthful and open to yourself, and identifying the areas that you need to consciously develop. Why do we need to consciously take the steps to develop ourselves? One, it helps us to build our confidence and self esteem. Each and every day, we are faced with opportunities and ways in which we can build our self esteem and confidence. We're in school to learn our skills, which is also part of ways we're building our self confidence. How about taking other steps to build these confidence and self esteem in your totality as an individual? We also see that it helps you increase your adaptability and resilience. In the world we're in, change, they say, is only constant. And currently, as we can all testify, there's so many changes happening each and every day. A few years ago, there was nothing like AI, but today, writing from thesis to uh, photo shoots and everything, you can have a full photo shoot without even stepping in the studio. And this is all thanks to the changes we are experiencing through AI. So you need to develop yourself consciously each and every time to be adaptable and resilient with the changing times. It helps you to improve your network and your associations. I'm glad that we're here. I'm glad that we are listening to people. We are engaging. This is one of the avenues we can use to improve ourselves, increase our network. They say that what your network is your net worth. Sorry. So you can improve yourself through your associations, attending such events, networking, consciously deciding to network and build your space. Career advancement. This is something that is very important to us. If you speak with people who have made it, who are successful in their careers, they'll tell you that constantly learning, constantly developing yourself gives you the edge in growing your career and developing in your career. So, in your workplace, as we're in school, once we leave school, enter into entrepreneurship, enter into the corporate world, whichever area we choose, whatever path we choose, the important thing is to consciously and constantly learn to improve yourself. Whether it is with on the job training, reading books, whatever it is, learning through audio tapes, whatever it is, consciously and purposively decide to improve yourself. Oh, and then it helps you to improve your work life balance. Imagine you're working and you're saying, okay, because I'm working, I'm unable to do anything else. But we're social beings. We have families. We have people that we relate to. We have people we need to balance our lives with. So, person taking that conscious decision to develop your personal life, your personal attributes, helps you to develop that balance. Like I said, we're looking at 5 key areas where you can pay attention to and develop yourself. Okay, I am a person of faith. I will not hide it. Prof. Hinson said this, and so I will start with the first area, your spiritual life. It says in Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 7 to 8, that blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. He will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in the year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. Frankly, this verse sums everything up for me. If I don't talk about any other area of your life, this verse alone talks about every aspect of our life. And as Christians, whichever religion or spirituality we subscribe to, it's important that you are rooted to your source. I want us to take note that spirituality is never the same as religiousness. You can be religious, going to church 7 times in a week, but then if you're not really connected to your roots, the source of your being, then you may lose your purpose. Being connected to your source of your being helps you in developing yourself. It helps you to bear yourself up. You remember I mentioned that this is self-development is being true to yourself. It's being realistic. It's being open and identifying the areas that you need to develop. Develop your mental well-being. We keep hearing this all the time, and I've already mentioned it. It's important that you keep learning, keep growing. We're learning whether in class, out of class, on the job. There's so many ways of learning, interacting with people, getting people who are where you subscribe or where you aspire to be, all forms part of the learning process. And it is an ongoing process and never stops. Now, um, physical areas says what? To enhance your interpersonal relationships and also build your physical resilience. We've talked about the importance of being adaptable and building self resilience, even through the process of developing yourself. Now, exercise, we all hear is important. Eating well is important. Taking care of yourself is important. Rest, all of those are important. And so that takes you back to the importance of developing yourself and then also having that balance with yourself. I will talk about the social bit as well. And the social bit is with building and increasing your network. And I've already said that your network is your net worth. And so make that conscious decision to improve your social and relationships. Okay, and relationships, don't forget about your immediate relationships. So your family, there are times when we find that successful people in certain areas of their lives, say at work, have been very successful in pushing their careers, they've grown to the detriment of the people who love them the most. Self development, personal development includes taking care of the people who you love the most and people closest to you as well. So basically, these are the areas I want us to consider when looking at developing ourselves. There are other areas that you can also look at, but for me, if you are able to tackle these main areas of your life, you will be able to grow and develop yourself to the level that you aspire. Now, how do you do this? How do you develop the strategies for personal development? Set smart goals. In setting SMART goals, I'm sure we've all heard what SMART means. It says specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound goals. These are very important. In opening up yourself, in asking yourself the difficult questions, and making sure that you are as honest with yourself as possible, set these goals. Make sure that these are realistic goals and set timelines to be able to measure yourself and know your rate of your growth. Now, have a plan to develop yourself. What do I need to do? Once you set these goals, what do I need to make sure that I achieve these goals? If one area of your life is to say that I want to lose weight, how do I achieve it? What is my plan? I need to lose a weight in the next 12 months. I need to lose a weight in the next 10 months. What do I need to do? I exercise 1 hour a day. I eat well. I sleep 8 hours a day. I do drink enough water. I drink 3 liters of water. These are realistic goals that you know you can achieve and develop. Now, practice mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. And this includes inner peace. This takes me back to the spirituality bit of it, which started for me. That connect yourself to your inner roots, connect yourself to the source of your being. And this helps to give that inner peace. In these turbulent times, you know how the economy is behaving. We need that source to go back to each and every time. Embrace failure. Doesn't seem to. So embrace failure. We've all tried at things and failed. If you haven't failed yet, you're one of the very, very, very lucky few. We've all tried our hands at things and failed. What do we learn from those failures? What do we learn from those things where we tried and failed? Take those lessons and improve yourself. This is all part of the personal development journey. It's an ongoing process. You fall, you get up, you fall, you get up, but then you still keep moving. Network. I can't say this enough. We talked about is find ways and means of networking. They say that once you get the old friends, it's good to have new friends, but keep the old friends and make sure that you engage and interact each and every time. And once you're interacting, you're seeking to get people who are where you want to be. Feedback is an essential bit of it. Constructive feedback. Take feedback and make sure that you are aligned. Okay. In building your growing your personal self, I want us to look at including your personal brand. So there's a picture on the screen. Some of you may know him, others may not know him. But then if you see this man, he is a brand on his own. You've developed yourself. You are looking at ways to develop yourself. Personal branding is one area that you need to take seriously when developing yourself. And this man is an epitome of developing yourself. So this is the General Superintendent of Assemblies of God, Ghana, and he is my pastor as well. It's from Cedar Mountain Chapel. He is a correct definition and example of personal branding. His looks, his appearance, his demeanor, his communication, his he's the embodiment of personal branding. And so if you don't know him, please look him up. Look him up. In personal branding, what do? You need to first find out what your unique identity is. And that's the whole essence of personal branding. What do you stand for? Who are you? And what do you offer? And this constitutes your reputation, your values, skills, and your image. Why is it important to brand yourself? It allows you to attract and leverage on opportunities for growth. You're identifying that you need to personally develop yourself. Now, in developing yourself, you are networking. How do you attract these opportunities? How do you make sure that you're taking advantage of them? It helps you in your career advancement. It also helps you in building trust and credibility. We talked about the network and opportunities as well earlier. And then it helps you to differentiate in a competitive market. So, what do you stand for? Who are you? What do you offer? Building that and making sure that you consciously develop that all the time helps you in that. And then, as mentioned earlier, when we talked about the definition of personal development, it is building your self esteem and your confidence. Personal branding helps you do exactly that. Elements of a strong brand. What constitutes a strong brand? I will touch on five. Authenticity. You must be authentic. So if you see that I mentioned earlier that it is your unique identity. And so in developing that unique identity, you need to be very authentic. You need to be consistent. You need to have clarity on exactly what your end goal is. What do I need to do to achieve it? So remember the SMART goals we talked about. And it needs to be relevant. You need to be relevant. And then also the most important thing, it needs to be unique to you. You don't need to lose yourself in order to brand yourself. Your uniqueness must be portrayed even in branding yourself. How do you maintain your personal brand in such an evolving world? You branded yourself, you outlined the ways to, the reasons you need to do it. Now, in doing so, we need to constantly update your brand statement, what you're offering, who you are, what you stand for, and in a digital world that we're in, you need to increase your online presence and your content. Content does not necessarily only mean online, but even offline as well. What are you delivering? Improve on that constantly. We talked about feedback, and feedback is showing again here, even in personal branding. Feedback is very important because constantly getting the feedback you need helps you to adjust as needed and continuously make improvements and stay current in your industry, whichever path you choose to be in. Make sure that you are abreast with the times, you're on top of your game, you're set apart from the competition and your peers, and you're always delivering. The last thing I would say is embrace your personal growth and adapt to changing circumstances. And so the thank you. Change, adapt to your personal growth and changing circumstances. The world is changing. New things are happening. Adaptability and resilience is the most important thing. And so if you do not remember anything at all that I've talked about in this short time, remember that in order to build your personal brand, in order to develop yourself personally, you need to touch on the five main areas: your spirituality, your mental growth, physical growth, social growth, and your emotional as well. Thank you very much, and I